What is up, everybody? This is the Wild Nutrition Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Heskett, and this is episode 91. All right. So I've been debating this over the past couple of weeks. Usually on Fridays, we do Unapologetic Fridays. Hasn't really been the same feeling. Like, I've been saying these, but then not, like, getting, like, super crazy passionate and cursing my mind out. Like, not too much has really pissed me off to like do an entire episode. There's plenty in the fitness world that pisses me off, but not in the way that these started. So I think I'm going to switch the name to Coffee Talk Fridays, because a lot of times I'm like recording these now on Fridays and literally just like recording and uploading immediately, right first thing like in the morning after like the girls get sent off. So that's my thought. This will be another unlabeled, but I think next week we're going to start calling it Coffee Talk Fridays. Anyways, and I might be able to get it done before the girls get crazy in the morning, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyways, today's episode's about the spoon theory and burnout and why you can't do certain things and why self-care is so important. And if you're like, oh, we're going to talk about self-care, that's lame. This is important if you've been struggling with actually reaching your goals, or like, I don't know why I'm not fucking consistent. Well, you're about to figure out what you need to do to build that consistency. So let's get 15 minutes on the clock. Basically, everything is going to stay the same, except like, I feel like the title fits better. Like when you look, you're like, oh, like Coffee Talk. Like I'm going to pull up rather than Unapologetic Friday. Like it's still going to be still me. It's just I feel Coffee Talk is a better title. Anyways, spoon theory. So I forget exactly where this. I honestly did not look this up. I just know the theory. So somebody created this theory. Some, I believe, psychologist. So imagine you're going through your day, and I always think of it like a battery, but this person came up with spoons. So you're trying to make a change, or you're trying to do something. But throughout your day, you start off with X amount of spoons in the morning, or you start off with a full battery in the morning. Like you wake up and, okay, you have 100% charge. Like you charge your phone overnight, you have 100% charge when you wake up. But as soon as you do something, you get your kids ready. That drains a little bit of that battery. So it's like you have X amount of spoons, that takes one spoon away. But different things in your day are going to drain your battery to differing amounts. For example, if you have like a stress-free commute and you're listening to music and like you get to work and it wasn't a bad day at work, you probably have more energy at the end of the day than if your commute's absolutely batshit crazy, there's an accident, now you're running late, you get into work, you're frazzled, and then it's like work is absolute shit, somebody like just did not do their job, and now you have to like do the job of two people. Like those are two very different days. So if you have to work out after work, which day do you think you're going to have more energy? You're going to be more motivated. You might be angry after the day too, but you're going to be, let's say, even if you're like still motivated to get to the gym, after that second day of just crazy commute, shitty day at work, like you're going to be exhausted. Versus the other day, like you might come home like, oh, like I'm a little tired, but like, oh, you know what? I should meal prep. I should get ahead. The other one's like, I know I should get ahead, but fuck that. There's a terrible. I'm going to pour a glass of wine and I'm going to just like binge on Netflix. So the theory is you only have so much battery in a given day. You only have so many spoons, as this person would say. Let's say you have 10 spoons, and every time you do something, it's going to take away part of it. Sometimes a half a spoon, just like getting up in the morning when you don't want to get up. It might just be a half a spoon. It's not that much, but then you have your commute to work. That's going to be, maybe half a spoon. And then you have some things at work, and work's going to be 2 spoons. And it starts to chip away. You have to get your kids ready for the day, and they're just like not wanting to go to school. That's a full spoon, and it just chips away. And you need a spoon to do something. Like if you're trying to build a habit, they generally take away a spoon, or it takes away part of your battery. I visualize the battery, so I'm going to keep using the battery analogy because to me that makes more sense than the spoon. I'm going to use both continuing, but you use the one in your head that makes more sense to you. So again, you are going to be using these up. The problem is, what most people don't realize is you can actually you can recharge your battery in the middle of the day. You can recharge your battery doing something so that you're not just burnt out and grumpy and having your health decline. Because honestly, what happens is when we're just totally drained, you have just been like stressed all day long, and your stress response is through the roof, and you are not happy. You feel burnt out. This is where like your relationships can get strained. You're snapping at your kids, your spouse. It's not good. We need to do things, self-care things that recharge. And for parents, this can be tricky. I know, going through it myself, it can be tricky, but it is important to find time to do these things to recharge your battery. Because at night, like sleeping, you don't start off the day with 100% battery every time. If we say, what's your battery starting Monday morning, then it is like a Wednesday morning. You're like, oh, Monday I'm like going into work like it's a fucking Monday, but I'm fully charged. And then it's like, by the time Wednesday, you're like, oh my God, we're halfway through. There's still 2 more fucking days in the week. Like, do you think you're full battery? No, you're like 80% battery. So you're just starting the day off already at like limited capacity. You don't have all your spoons. So we need to do things that recharge, and there's no one specific thing that's going to do it. Now, if you there is one specific thing. Things you enjoy doing. You need to make sure you are taking care of yourself and doing things that fill your cup, that make you feel, not even necessarily enjoy, but make you feel accomplished. Like going to the gym. And that doesn't mean crushing it at the gym to where like you're crawling out on your hands and knees. It might just be like going to the gym and you're like, I had a shit day. You go to the gym, you're like, I don't want to be here, And you do your workout, you're like, you didn't crush it, which is fine. You don't need to crush every single workout. But you leave the gym and you're like, oh, I feel much better. Like that can recharge a spoon, because the spoon's more about mental energy, your mental capacity. Because we've all been in a situation where, like, I don't know why I'm, like, tired and burnt. Like, I got plenty of rest. There's no reason for me to be this mentally tired. I just can't find the energy or the motivation to do something today. I'm sure we've all been in that situation. I know I have. And that's where, like, your spoons have been totally drained, and you need to do something to fill that cup. And ideally, you're doing something on a daily basis to help recharge that battery. That's not just sleep. Like if you just work all day and then go to bed, wake up, work all, unless that actually truly fills your cup. I know like Alex loves working, so that's her. And there's other people where like business owners, like that actually does fill their cup to an extent. If that's you, great. If that's not you, then you need to find something and do something. If this is not, especially as a parent, this is not you being selfish. It's a little bit of being selfish, but it's not selfish, because you are showing up to your family at like 20% capacity. You're never like actually feel like you are drained, burnt out. And then you're always like, oh, I just wish. And how's that energy? That energy's bleeding out into the way you talk to your kids, the way you talk to your significant other. It's not good. Versus if you took 30 minutes, 20 minutes even, an hour per day to spend on you, then that energy is totally different. Like you're getting the things done that you want to get done. And it's backwards. You can always find something like, oh, well, I would love to do that, but there's X, Y, Z, and F to do. Like, no. That's an excuse because you feel like you always have to be productive. Because a lot of times these things, other than like gym, don't feel productive. Like, oh, you're going to journal. You're going to go take a bath and relax. You're going to meditate. You're going to do deep breathing exercises. You're going to do these other things that help you reduce your stress load. Because we live in a society where, like, if you're not being productive, it's not worth your time. I see this a lot. There's a lot of economic creators I don't think that's the right term. There's a lot of creators who talk about the economy that I follow on TikTok, or they just pop up on my timeline, and I'll go through the comments, and it's always like something about like millennials versus Gen Z versus boomers. So many people are like, well, people are complaining because they only work an 8-hour workday Monday through Friday. Should be working, if you're complaining, work more. And if that will just lead to burnout. And very rarely, unless you are a business owner, do I find people who are truly happy doing it. They're always super grumpy, super miserable, and their health is awful, because that is something that in previous generations was never a concern. It was, we're going to make all of our money, we're going to get our bag, and then we're going to spend all of our money, which is what that generation is currently doing. So we're going to spend all our money now trying to get our health back. We're going to make all of it, ruin our health. Then when we're in our 50s, 60s, 70s, we're going to try to spend money to get our health back. But now we're like working like on the back end of it, like, or we should have been worrying about our health on the front end. And sometimes, health, our personal health does have to take a back burner. That does happen, but it shouldn't be an afterthought, which is what American society puts on health in the past generations. Starting with, I guess the term's like elder millennial. I'm at like the top end of the millennial. I think. What's millennial? I'm gonna actually Google that really. What is the millennial generation? 81 to 90. Yeah. So I'm a 90s baby. So I'm right in the middle of, basically towards the middle of being a millennial. So yeah, that is starting with my generation. We started focusing more on health and realizing like working all the time is just terrible for your mental health. We should go to therapy. We should do all these other things. And that is like poo-pooed on the older generations, who think it's like, oh, that's not necessary, versus, and then you realize like they have a lot of shit that they need to get worked out because they just like, oh, this is just normal. No, that's actually really unhealthy, and that's not normal. That's not how the human body is supposed to be. But I digress. Back to spoon theory and the battery. Make sure you guys are doing something every single day, or at least weekly, that refills your cup, that makes you feel accomplished, that makes you feel happy. If you're not, why the fuck not? Because you are showing up as a lesser version of yourself in every aspect of your life. At work, with your family, with your friends. You need to do something. And for me, this is getting outside, going hunting, hiking, etc., working out, cooking. Those things make me feel accomplished. I like doing those things. Those are my things. But I haven't been hiking in quite a while, and that has taken a toll on my mental health. Getting out for walks and stuff are helpful, but I have not been really out hiking since Victoria was born in July, and my mental health has tanked because of it. My capacity for stress. So this is because my spoon is never like completely filled up. As soon as things get stressful, I have less of an ability to manage stress, especially now having two girls, like two and under 3 basically. My capacity to handle a higher stress load is not what it used to be. Like, it's a lot more white knuckling through high stress situations. I just feel burnt out way faster than before. So it's important to do what you can. And I don't have the time. Sometimes you're like, well, my hobby is this thing it's golfing, and I can't golf for, that's going to take me 5 hours to, I don't know golf, guys. But a bunch of people in my business mentorship golf. So I was like, you can't golf every single day. Like, that's unrealistic if that's your thing. So you have to find some other things. Like, what's something that takes 5 minutes, 15 minutes to recharge your battery? And then you plan out like, okay, well, on the weekends, we're going to go do this thing. And this is also important. This is more for women than men, because men tend to be like, okay, well, I'm going fishing. And then we're like, well, we have all this housework to do. Sometimes that housework needs to be put on hold for your mental health. It doesn't always need to get done. And if you're like, well, I have to vacuum everything, buy a fucking Roomba. Like, let that do it for the week and go take care of your mental health. Well, clothes have to get done. Do they really? By the way, I am the worst when it comes to clothes, because it is literally like the bottom. Like, I also don't have to have like this super, like, all of my business clothes, like, those are hung up, but everything else, I'm like, it's not that important. Like, as long as it doesn't look wrinkled when I'm on camera, it's fine. I would rather spend my time not folding clothes. I have to do laundry today, and I haven't folded my clothes from like the past 2 weeks. It's just sitting in the corner. I'm like, it doesn't bother me. It's a waste of time in my opinion, because I'm just going to be doing it over and over and over again, and I'd rather spend that time doing things I enjoy. And people will be like, oh, that's adulting. Is it really important? Is folding your clothes when it's unnecessary? Now, if you have suits, you have business clothes like my wife's clothes that can't be wrinkled, absolutely, that is an essential part of being an adult. But if it's not, like in my situation, it's kind of a waste of time. Spend that doing other things that actually help you move closer to your goals. Because a lot of people, especially I've found this with parents with home workouts, will say like, well, I get distracted doing the dishes or folding clothes or vacuuming the house. Like, did it really need to get done right then, or are you putting off doing your workout? And you know you're going to feel better and you're not going to have guilt if you do your workout. But you go like, oh, see, I just don't have time to work out. Like, no, you did. You just put it off because you prioritize these other things, which really weren't a priority. Do you really need to fold your kids' clothes? Or can you just be a pile and be like, we'll get to it when we get to it? Honestly, that's our kids' clothes right now. Again, like, what's priority? You want to spend time doing that, or do you want to spend time like actually with them? Or where, like, my choice at night is girls are like in bed, like asleep by, like, if we're lucky, 8:45, but it's like 9 o'clock they're asleep. Like, bedtime routine starts at 8, and like we're walking out of the rooms by 9. So then I get a workout, and usually it's not at 9. It's like 9:15, 9:30 p.m. I'm getting my workout in. That's an hour, so 10:15, 10:30 I'm done. So if I need to get some sort, and then it's usually like doing dishes or something else on the back end of that. Some chores do need to get done, but it's like, well, if you had clothes and you had a vacuum, you're like, okay, so when would I work on me? And that's important. It's important not to put yourself on the back burner. This happens more with parents because, you know, as I've found out, if you're not a parent, this is, in mornings, like, okay, from like 7:30 to 9, my morning's gone. So that hour and a half is gone. And sometimes it's earlier. Sometimes it's 6:45 to 9 or 9:30. That's just gone. I can't do anything work-wise because I'm working with the girls and getting breakfast and getting them ready for the day and doing all that. So that hour and a half, 2 hours is gone out of my day. And then dinner has to be on the table by 6:30, which means we have to start dinner by 5:30. So 5:30, and then it's dinner, and then it's get like 1 hour to kind of like spend with them, and then it's bedtime routine at 8. So 5:30 to 9 off the table. So 3.5 hours. So that is 4-5 hours out of the day, like out of the equation. Don't have any time, and then it's like work full day. So the little time you have left, you need to make sure you're spending it on you and doing things, not just like watching Netflix, like doing things that actually make you feel good. Like if you watch a show and you're like, oh, I feel like a lazy piece of shit because I didn't work out. Like, okay, you know what I did? There's a show I want to do, and there's days I don't feel motivated. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get the walking pad out. I'm going to pull Netflix up on my computer. I'm going to watch it while doing a rucking workout. I'm going to put my heart rate monitor on, make sure I'm in my zone 2 the entire time. I'll just have like a charger on my phone and just have, so I have the polar heart rate strap. And I just have that running in front of me so I know, hey, the heart rate is where it's supposed to be. I'm at the pace I'm supposed to be. I'm watching Netflix. So I'm getting my show in. I'm getting my workout in. But zone 2 is not crushing me. And then other times it's like, well, I'll, those days are like my cardio days. It depends on how I'm feeling. So I'll move my shit around. Sometimes it's Monday if like Monday's been a rough day. Other times it's Wednesday. Usually it's Wednesday. And then usually it's like Friday or Saturday, just depending on when I want to lift. So it's like, well, those are the days I watch shows. And then the other days of the week, I'm lifting. So I'm going to get my workout in, and I'm going to watch shows on the other days. And that's kind of how you have to move those things around and do things. And, for me, workouts are an hour. It might be a half an hour for you. It might be 45 minutes. You have to find what works for you best. But things throughout your day are going to drain your battery or remove spoons. Sleeping helps recover some of it, but if you're just working to your bone and you're just stressed and you never do anything that you want to do, you're going to burn out because it's literally like wake up, work, go to bed, wake up, work, go to bed. Like, it is not a life anyone wants to live unless you're like a business owner and you absolutely love your job and you're like, oh, this fills my cup. Like, fantastic. I have too many fucking hobbies that does not do it for me. I have to make sure I'm doing the other things or I get burnt out. So you have to like make sure you're planning for those things and fill your cup. Try to recharge some of your spoons, recharge your battery each day a little bit. It's not going to be like a full charge. On weekends, make sure you're spending some time doing things you enjoy. And this is where my wife and I will get in some arguments or disagreements, not even arguments, but it's like, do not fill up my weekend with things I don't want to do. Like, don't fill up the weekend with like we have to go and see this person and we have this party. Like, don't do it. We are not going to be, I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to be part of it. I'm going to want to be doing something at least one day. Like, one day you can do that on the weekend, but the other day it's me time. And so that other day we're going to be running errands. We're going to do these other things because I need this time to recharge. Also, everyone's a little bit different. I know for me, I need that time. My wife definitely needs that time, even though she doesn't take as much as she should, despite me telling her to. You need to fill your cup, recharge your batteries, and then you go into the next week not being burnt out, having the mental capacity to, and we're finishing up here. But the reason we say this is, or I say this, if you're totally drained, you're also not going to say no to food. You're just going to give in to food because that helps like kind of fill your, like, makes you feel good when you're totally stressed out and burnt out. Like, oh, I grabbed the bag of chips, or oh, I ate the half a pint of Ben & Jerry's. Like, I don't know why. Like, you're burnt out and your body knows we can get a really quick dopamine hit there. So that is one reason that happens. And if you want to make a change, which is going to drain your battery, anytime we're trying to build new habits, make a lifestyle change, that's going to be part of this, where you're draining your battery a little bit. If you're not doing something that recharges you, you're not going to have the capacity to do it unless you have like a zero stress life. So one reason you're falling off with your nutrition is that you don't have the mental capacity. You don't have enough battery charge to actually do it. You're trying to open it up an app and it's like 1% battery and your phone's starting to glitch out. You know it's about to die. You're like, oh, where's the charger? You're like rushing to a phone charger before your battery dies. It's like it turns out. Like, that's why. So if there's nothing left for you to give, and this isn't an excuse for you to be like, well, Chris said I can't do it, so I'm just burnt out, so I'm not going to make any change. No. It's about figuring out what you can do to recharge your battery, to then be able to go back and make those lifestyle changes. Because once you've made the change and they become a habit, then it's an automation, and those don't take any energy. Once it becomes a habit, habits don't take energy, hence it being a habit. So you get to that point, then it's easier to actually reach those goals you want to reach. But creating the habit takes change. Think of it like if it's a computer automation, or an app, like building out, let's say it's, I'm trying to think of an automation that everyone uses. Let's say it's like a reminder on the calendar. I don't know about you, but I hate Google Calendar on the mobile. I find it like really clunky, but I use Google Calendar for everything. So there's something coming up, and it's going to be every week for next Friday at X time. Okay, great. So I have to go in, put that in, set the reminder, put the time in, the details, location if it needs to be location, do all those things. I have to put all that stuff in. That takes energy to do. And does it take a lot of energy? No, but it's a thing. But now, once that's set, I don't have to touch it. Every single week it's going to pop up. Hey, reminder, at this time you have this thing. At this time you have this thing. At this time, forever and ever. That's kind of like habit. It takes energy to put in, to build it. Once it's built, it's smooth sailing. And if you're more techie and you understand like on the back end of like actual like automations and stuff, like then you realize, it takes work to put things in. Like I use Zapier for sending me like notifications when someone fills out an application. Like, okay, you have to create a type form, or basically the questionnaire. Then you have to connect it to Zapier. Then you have to connect Zapier to your phone. You have to go through the process, make sure it sends the right questions to you so you know someone fills it out. Make sure everything's working, and then once that's done, it's done, and it's like, oh, that seems like a lot of work. But once it's set, you don't have to touch it for the rest of your life, basically. It's just like living there, and as soon as someone fills out an application, I get a text message on the phone, hey, go check this. So I don't have to go and check it every single day. That's kind of like habit. Like it took a lot of work on the front end. Like, man, that was like 45 minutes of my time, but it's set, and my application that I built out has been sitting there for like a year and a half. I don't have to touch it. You fill out an application, it gets sent right to my phone. I reach out to you because it sends a phone number, sends an email, so I can just reach out. I don't even have to open up any applications. I can just do it from that text message that gets sent to me from my phone if I want, or I can be like, oh, I'll pull it up on my computer, put that info in, it's ready to go. So that is kind of like that capacity. But if you're so stressed out you don't have time to build that, then you're always just like, oh, well, I'll just go like manually check every single day. If that's exhausting, how long are you going to do that? 2 weeks, and then you fall off. And you're like, oh, well, I'll check it next Monday. Well, I'll check it next. Kind of like your diet. Anyways, we are closing in on half an hour. So, as always, thank you for tuning in. If you like this episode, please send me a message, or rate the show, leave a review for the show. I don't know if Spotify does reviews. I know Apple does, but depending on where you're listening, leave a review, drop a rating. That is always appreciated, and it helps push the show out so more people can find it and become listeners. Thank you for tuning in. Happy fucking Friday.